June is here. June is here. It's June 12th, ladies and gentlemen. This is Team No Sleep. This is the social impact of sport. Y'all know me, James Hicks, but don't worry about me. That right there, that's Montell Allen. What it do, brother?
Man, blessed as usual, man. Always, as always, man. So, like I was telling you before, my worst day is a blessed day, so I cannot complain.
That's it, man. You keep coming up with all these great slogans that we're gonna have to put on new merch, right? I mean, that's gonna be on the net. We got protect the players. Then you came up with another one the other night, so I'm still designing that. You keep coming up. We gonna have swag and merch for days. We gonna have swag.
Elevation over ignorance, right? Elevation over ignorance.
That's cool.
That's the new one. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Listen, I'm saying what's going on to a lot of folks that's coming into the building. Appreciate you guys for joining. I know some of y'all probably basketball fans, so we're gonna talk basketball, but I know you're watching the game too right now. Listen, it's tied up. They're about to go into halftime right now, 50-50, so it's a new game. I know Dallas is gonna win tonight, so we can just leave it at that. We can just move on now from that. Kyrie is not gonna listen. Okay, let's start there. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and get to this out of the way because I think we've already predicted who we want for the finals to win. I'm gonna let you go. Oh Lord, tired. Someone that scored a point. See on the Maverick side, it's 51-50. But must have been a free throw or something. Who you got to win the finals?
I picked Boston. I picked Boston from the beginning. Not that I don't like Dallas. I think Boston just got firepower, and I thought with Porzingis coming back, it was going to give them a spark, which it did. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, that he blew his knee and he's hurt and he's out for the rest of the series. It's going to be a different dynamic now. You got to adjust now completely differently than how you're playing when he was able to come in and give you that spark. You got to think Porzingis was giving them anywhere from 15 to 20 points, 3 or 4 blocks, and about 6 or 7 rebounds a game. That's hard. That's hard to make up. For any team that's missing. So I think Boston now has to go back to where they were to readjust and get and figure out where these points are going to come from. Obviously, Jaylen Brown is probably the best player on the court as of right now.
Yep.
I mean, Luka's the man, but I mean, Jaylen Brown is playing at an all-time high level. And we're just waiting for his partner in crime to get it together. And then I think Boston still has a good chance. I think White is the factor for Boston. He's a defensive guy. He's always matched up on Kyrie and he's matched up on Luka a lot. I don't think he has to stop them, but if he could just make things difficult, just make it difficult for them to score, I think Boston has a better chance of winning. That's just my take on it. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of either one. I can care less who wins it, but if I gotta have some insight, I think it's time for Boston to win one. I do. I really do.
I feel exactly the same way. I want it to be a series. I'm surprised that Dallas is down by 2 already. I thought they would have pulled out at least one of those games. But yeah, Porzingis came in and listen, he was blocking stuff like it was nobody's business. Gone for like 37 days. It just came back out and played, blocking shots, hitting threes, and just showing out, doing his thing, chatting with the crowd, right, doing his thing. And then unfortunately, he's got this rare injury. So I mean, you don't ever want to wish an injury on no one. But yeah, that's tough right there as well.
And blessing for a speedy recovery, man. I mean, that was I hate to see freak accidents in basketball or any sport. I hate to see it, but definitely in basketball because when they're freak accidents, they're really catastrophic. Like Paul George when he had his knee injury in the playoffs, Klay Thompson when he had his knee injury in the championship game. Now Porzingis kind of reminiscent of Klay Thompson having this big time knee injury in the playoff game. I don't know if it's going to shift the tide, but I mean, I wish him a speedy recovery, man, because those things are hard to come by, man. To overcome. You think a knee is probably one of the most fragile parts in a person that plays basketball's body because you're constantly pounding on it.
Right? Listen, we 6 feet tall, right? And it hurt when we tweak a knee. When you got a whole another 12, 13 inches, man, come on. I mean, the bones are a little bit more brittle.
It's a constant pound, and it's constantly jumping up and down and always engaging with each other. So that it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a rough ride for him to get back. Obviously, his game can adjust because he can shoot from the outside, so there's always gonna be a place for him on the court. But his is going to be a lot more difficult than Klay Thompson's is and Paul George because those guys are guards. They're more slashy. They can move around. They're not inside banging. Porzingis is a center. He has to bang with guys. He has to go against guys like Jokic who weigh outweigh him by 50, 60 pounds sometimes at night. He got to go against the high flyers like Aaron Gordon. So it's going to be, I think, a hard recovery for him. But, I mean, I just wish him the best. Well, man, I thought he was a good player, man. I just liked his enthusiasm when he came back. You know, he always had this bum rap like he was a bust kind of a player. He didn't make it. And then he came in those 2 games, and literally he was the MVP of Boston coming in those 2 games, winning them both.
Porzingis was the man. He was the man.
Yeah.
And I think so. Again, I'll say I wanted to be a series. I think Dallas is going to win tonight, but Boston has to win. Boston has to get that 18th banner. They have to win this year. They've been there. They've been to this dance too many times, too frequently. And
so do you think if they don't win, they break up? You think they break it up now?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You think they break up Jaylen Brown and Tatum if they don't win it?
Yeah, because it didn't work. It has to work this time. It has to work this week. They got to get Adam Silver has to get him that trophy next weekend. I really and a lot of times you'll hear me waffling or speaking of ill or not half truths. I think it has to work this time. They've been too close.
So flip side, if Dallas doesn't win it, do they try to break up the Kyrie and Luka tandem?
No, because I think Kyrie finally gets it. You can see a little difference in Kyrie. He understands that he made some errors, and you can't go to Boston. You can't stomp on Lucky in the middle of the court. I mean, he's matured from that end. So I think they understand that dynamic there, and probably even with Cuban being no longer the owner, they probably got a little different direction. They got to keep that. But when you got literally probably 2 other best players in the league dominating the way that they are right now, Tatum and Brown, and if they don't walk off with that trophy this year, they're going to be some furniture moving.
Wow.
That's okay. Right. Let me put a mark right now, guys. Let me put a mark right now because I'm.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with you 100%, but I do believe that they'll probably have to make additional changes. They did it last year. Remember, they got rid of Smart. And they made some arrangements in the backcourt, and then it worked out. Obviously, they got him back to the show again, and now that they're 2 games ahead, and they're right there. But I can't necessarily say if they don't win it, and Luka has some Luka Kyrie domination, and they don't win it all, do they break that dynamic duel up? Actually, that trio, because White is he's a guy you got to keep. Horford is so cheap, you got to keep him, and he's a battler.
Horford may end up retiring. He's 38 years old. Even though he can still move, right? He may actually hang him up.
You can't afford to get rid of Brown or Tatum, man. Those are 2 guys. I mean, and what would you get on your return? Like, what would you get on your return to be able, if you get rid of them, you got to ask for the house to get something in return. I don't think they break it up. I think if they lose, they still give it one more shot because I think they still got one more chance to get there. And obviously, they're going to send Porzingis. Like, Porzingis was the missing piece. He was a guy that they slotted us to get us here to make something happen. He made some noise when he was here, but unfortunately got hurt. I think that'll be their escape route out to keep it together at least 1 more year, and then go for it again.
Okay.
And then
we having our Stephen A. moment. Even though I'm not a fan of Stephen A., we having our Stephen A. moment right here. We not gonna argue about the WNBA like he and Monica McNutt did, but that was some must-see TV when they went, okay, let's refocus. Let's get back into it. Y'all put in the comments who you think is going to prevail in these NBA finals. We're going to start with a lot of NBA conversation. It's not even just an NBA story, but it's just if you're a sports fan and if you've been around for any period of time, you know about the logo. You know about Jerry West. You know about the impact that this man had and has on the game. And unfortunately, we lost Jerry West today, early this morning. So condolences to his family on Jerry West passing. But that man, again, when you the logo of the league, when you've had that much impact, when you've been with the Lakers and the Clippers, and you are that guy, that's this is a huge loss. So they're dealing with those mixed emotions right now as they dribble up and down the court as well.
Legend. Simple. Yeah. One word, just legend.
That's it, man.
I mean, what he did for the game, how he transcended the game. Obviously he was a great player because he was a logo of the NBA. He's been the logo of the NBA forever. I just think he's done so much on the court as he's done shaping championship teams off the court.
Okay. Yep.
He's a great. I mean, anybody would tell you he's been a great GM, a great GM. So and Jerry West is set in his ways. He's built that Laker. He's a big piece of that puzzle to the Laker dynasty. That the Pat Rileys, the West Pauls, the Magic Johnsons, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, Jerry Buss and his whole era. Jerry West was a part of that whole thing.
Yeah.
He was a person that helped formulate that Laker and that iconic franchise to what it is today. And the fact that we've lost two great NBA personalities in Bill Walton last week, may his soul rest in peace. And now we have Jerry West, may his soul rest in peace, up there. Two just icons, man, that are legendary in the game that we've lost in one sport, in one professional sport in 1 week. In the midst of 2 weeks, it's kind of crazy, man. But I mean, his legacy is going to long forever live. Jerry West is, especially in Southern California, LA area, he's it, right?
Does he have he didn't have any statues, does he? I almost wonder, and he would be someone I could see having a statue somewhere close to, maybe close to
Kobe. Do you need a
statue
statue when you're the logo? But do you need a statue when you're the logo? You're on.
Do you need? If you own everybody's jersey, do you really just need a statue in front of a building?
Yeah, I don't think. But you know what though? I believe the Lakers organization will honor him. Obviously they'll honor him and honor his legacy. And I think the Clippers are going to honor his legacy as well for what he's been able to do with them. I think that dude is special in basketball. Regardless of what anybody wants to say, he's special. And for us, he was iconic like the Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. Before the Magics. It was Jerry West. It was the Jerry West's and the Bill Russells and all them guys. But he was that guy that was there that was the face of the NBA at that time when he played. So him and Oscar Robinson, I believe, for New York, which were rivals. That guy was iconic, man. And I think as the time goes on, the new generation doesn't know much about him and it fades away. But I think we got to pay respect to who he is and what he's been able to do for the game and what he's just been able to do for the Lakers organization is remarkable. He's just like Red Auerbach over in the Boston area. Wow. So he's done so much.
Yeah.
Great. They lost a legend. In the NBA world, they lost a legend. Absolutely. So
that is true, man. So, prayers, condolences to the West family, to the whole basketball, to the sports community, right? Because again, we've lost a couple of winners and a couple of champions lately, but we will definitely be remembered. I'm confident in Adam Silver, him being the commissioner, that he will do something very similar to what Boston did for Bill Walton, right? In terms of the memoriam and the commemorium and then changing some of the signage on their jerseys, things like that. So I'm sure Jerry West will have something for sure, but. So that is that. We already talked about the game, which is happening right now. We had halftime, 51-50. The Mavericks trying to do something. They still got another half to play. We'll see how that works out. Let's talk about another basketball story. You and I were texting. And I said, man, that's a lot of money, man. Hey, Hurley. I know he won 2 over at UConn. Shout out to them Huskies, but. Jeannie Buss is calling, and them Lakers got a lot of money. Them Lakers got deep pockets. Them Lakers offered Dan Hurley some money. they offered him some good money, some grown folk money. Dan Hurley turned him down and said, thank you, but no thank you. I'm gonna stay at UConn and I'm gonna try to three-peat. Talk to me about that, man. What your thoughts? So again, just being just being on that short list of maybe getting an offer from the Buss family. And then knowing that you know your stuff, knowing that you are that good, knowing that you bring that dynamics and you can control those personalities, and then them offering you a number. You go back home, talk to your wife, and you say, let me think about this. I'm going to go back home and talk to my wife about this. But then the next day, you tell them, nah, man, I'm gonna stay right here. Let's talk about that.
I think I don't know if he made the right or wrong decision. I don't necessarily agree with our counterparts at ESPN said. I think he just made a personal decision that was best for him and his family. LA is going to be a circus next year.
Yeah.
for the next 2 years. It's going to be a circus when the draft, when Bronny comes on, and how the team is going to shape up and what they're going to do. And it's going to be a circuit when LeBron decides he's going to retire. It's going to be a circus for the next couple of years, trying to figure that out and trying to navigate winning through that whole process, and then dealing with, egos in the NBA compared to what you're doing in college. This is a whole different dynamic, man. And I think he saw greats like Nick Saban that went from football to try to go professional football, and it didn't work out. I think he said, I don't want to tarnish my legacy. I don't want to tarnish what I'm doing. I'm making great money while I'm here in Connecticut. Why go disrupt what I got going on and might as well just stay here. And probably, I'm sure his wife and his family had a lot of input for that. And I think he read that money's not everything. Money doesn't come over my happiness, over my comfortability, over things that I enjoy doing. And let's be honest with you, man, when you get to that level, basketball cannot be, professional sports cannot be fun. Might not be fun anymore once you get to that level, because you're dealing with a different dynamic. You're dealing with a set of rules and a set of things you got to do that you're not normally used to doing. You don't have to deal with that. He's the king of the mountain in the college basketball. In pro basketball, he could be maybe the king, or he could maybe get this team to the king, or he could be a mockery. And it's not based on his coaching skills. It's based on the surroundings and the dynamics that come along with it. So I think he chose peace of mind over money. I really do. I think he chose peace of mind over money.
That says
a lot about what kind of person he is. That really does.
That's what I was gonna say. That's a grown folk decision right there, right?
Yes.
Because everyone's a lot of time always out for the bag. Always out. Was it $70 million? And not just the money side, but again, you're in LA. You are the Lakers head coach. I mean, that comes with a little bit of cachet as well, just to be able to say that. But choosing peace of mind, choosing family above all that, and knowing that you already got a cool squad, knowing that you've already done it twice, knowing that you got an opportunity to maybe do it again, and you already got your coaches in place, you already got your system in place. You really don't have to do too much bobbing and weaving. He probably should let his son play a little bit more, because I don't like the way he did his son last season. He just let his son come in every once in a while. Maybe Coach Hurley should let his son play. But that's a real good decision, I think, and that shows the character of Coach Hurley right there, of staying with UConn.
You see, I don't know if it was a real good decision or not. When we were texting, I was like, man, I would have got that bad.
Yeah, we were saying some different things.
That's me. I would have been like, man, I think I would have went for the bag, because they were offering him, I think, $7 million a year or whatever, $10 million a year for 7 years, or whatever the contract was. And I think that shows his integrity as a man and where he's at in his life, right? I think if he's younger, he goes for the gusto and goes. Being a little bit more established and a little more seasoned, I think, like I said, he chose peace of mind. He's like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have to deal with all those things. I just want to coach basketball, and I'm already getting paid pretty well, And at some point, how many millions do you need, right? If I'm getting $4 or $5 million a year, UConn, which I don't know what his money is, but if he's getting $4 or $5 million, $3 to $5 million in UConn, the cost of living, he's probably got already the mansion he wants. His kids are probably in the school or going to the colleges they want. His wife is probably happy. I don't have to deal with the rubble, the rush and bus of going to Southern California, being in the spotlight, always being under scrutiny no matter what I do, for every call that I do, for everything that I do. If I get in any type of altercation with LeBron, or any disagreement with LeBron or Anthony Davis, or I don't play Bronny enough, you got to think, man, what if Bronny ain't playing and LeBron feels he should be playing? Is that going to cause some problem? It's going to be a circus there, man. So I think he's like, I'm at a point where I want peace of mind.
Yeah. And Coach Hurley he's not bashful. I mean, he's out there dropping. He's kind of like a Bobby Knight, right? He's out there chest bumping, throwing stuff, swinging on players, right? But in a competitive sense. So him and a LeBron butting heads and having that figurative other coach, a LeBron James, that probably again was something that, listen, I don't want to deal with that. Let me control these young cats and mold them in the way that I know I can, as opposed to dealing with these folks, right? That's a good point, man.
I don't think promotion is always progress. Promotion is not always progress. It's not. You think because you're being promoted and you're taking on another job that you think that's progress in your career, but obviously it might be a downfall. It may spiral you out because what you used to be doing to make you successful may not work at the next level, especially, like I said, the transition from teens or young adults to seasoned and older men and trying to deal with them and things are done a certain way. So, that promotion may not necessarily make progress in his career. It might even stagger his career because if he doesn't do great, who knows what's going to happen at that particular point. Like I said, I think it shows his character. He's at a peace of mind. I chose peace of mind over money. I don't want to be in that situation where money is going to dictate the way I coach and what I want to do, and ultimately dictate his happiness. Right? Is he going to be happy in that role or not? I think he's happy in UConn. I think he's happy there. I think he's happy in that sweet spot. I think he's happy coaching 18, 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
And remember that's a new ball game too for him because they're navigating the NIL money. So that's a whole new ball game for him. And I think just getting used to that and trying to how to deal with that is a whole nother gamut, more so than having to go with the pros, because we all know pros are
that's crazy.
They're very. It's just a different dynamic, man.
I was gonna say that's crazy because that's one of the things that drove Nick Saban out. When you mentioned NIL, that's one of the things that drove him out. So is Coach Hurley stronger mentally? Well, maybe because he's younger and he's got more energy to deal with these young folks. Is he more stronger mentally than
he's in a different sport though? You got to think he's in a different sport with his NIL. He's in basketball, which he only has to manage these 15 players, right? Maybe 2 more that's a red shirt, but he only has to deal with about 17 players. Nick Saban has to deal with 65 scholarships, 65 different people.
Yeah.
All these people. So you're dealing with a whole bunch, bigger staff, everything. I think Coach Hurley's staff is small. I mean, you got you and a few of your assistant coaches, and then you got GAs and all that stuff. So my staff is a lot smaller, a lot tighter. I can control that more because it's a smaller number. Nick Saban's in a room with, he has about 15 coaches, 65 players on scholarship, another 35 that are not on scholarship that's going to be in here. We're dealing with all this stuff, and then I'm dealing now with NIL money. I'm in a market that they can't conceive it because I'm in a huge market. Remember, I'm in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I got to compete against markets like Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas. They can drive more money because remember, there's no limitation on NIL. Not at least not yet. There's no cap on it. So teams can raise as much money and give it to all the players as much as they want. I think he's like, I'm not ready. I can't deal with this because you have a bravado personality like Deion Sanders who can come in and light up the room because of his personality and who he is and who he was and how he was in the line like playing professional football. He's going to light up the room when Nick Saban's an old school guy. Thank me on my reputation, and that just doesn't work in today's climate.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a difference. I think that ran Nick out. Hurley's okay. Man, I only got 12 players, 12 to 15 guys to worry about. One doesn't work out, I can go get another one right away.
That's a good point. That's good. Listen, as we see 17 of y'all listening and checking us out, man. Listen, I know some of y'all are on Twitter as well. Don't be afraid. You can leave comments on Twitter as well and engage and interact. Tell us what you think about these stories that we've covered thus far. Did Hurley make the right decision, staying with UConn, or would you have taken that LA money and gone out and built you a house on Melrose? Was it Melrose Avenue? Was that where it is?
I would take the LA money.
God, dog, you would have taken that.
I'll be in Calabasas right now. I'll take that LA money. I would have dealt with the scrutiny.
Man, Montell would have been out there on, was it Huntington Beach? Is that where the fancy people? I don't know, because
brother, with that kind of money, I would have built my own beach in my backyard. I wouldn't have to go nowhere.
He'd have built his own house.
Yeah,
I ain't mad at you. So let's continue this because you mentioned we talked a little bit about NIL. We talked obviously about basketball, football, all the different sports, especially from a college perspective. There's some news that's happening about walk-ons. NCAA eliminating the walk-on. Man, that's... Before I give my ad lib on this, talk to us about this because you're very close to this, right? Because again, you've got family that coach, you got family that play, you are very involved in the athletes as they come up into the various systems as well. This story, could the NCAA eliminate walk-ons? Your thoughts on if it's a good thing, if it's a bad thing, and where do you think it will go?
It's a lot. And let me misquote. I said 65. Nick Saban had it. It's actually 85 scholarships. So sorry for that mistake. But yeah, I think this is huge because again, this is kind of what Nick Saban was proposing against, or he's one of the things he's fighting against because the way teams are getting around now. So say if you want to have 100 scholarships, those 15 guys that were typically scholarship athletes, but you're at your maximum, so you can't go anymore. Schools can now offer them money and just pay their tuition and everything with their NIL money, and say, hey, we're just going to pay your tuition that way. So now we have 100 to 115 guys. Schools all paid for. No, I have an unfair advantage because now I'm the USC, I'm the Trojans, I'm in LA, I'm getting all these top guys here. Even when I run out of money, scholarship money, guess what? I don't run out of money because I can still offer guys full tuition and full pay. So NCAA, the way to combat that way they kind of even out the scales are like, hey, we're going to cut off the walk-ons. You're not going to be allowed just to pay their money out of pocket, their scholarship out of pocket for them to attend school and for them to be on your team because now you're starting to build super teams at that point, right? Now you're having and you're eliminating other schools from getting those players, right? So if I'm at 85 and I want another player, okay, don't worry, we'll just pay for it. Where that kid would have never went to another school and be able to compete and play against us, and now kind of evens it a little bit. I don't know how that's going to work. I can't tell you if I'm in agreement with it or not. I do agree with it from not monopolizing the market. I agree with it from that standpoint. But I think if you're going to say we're going to cut off walk-ons, then you're going to have to increase the scholarships from 85 to probably 95. So that gives them that extra buffer from them what they would normally get from additional walk-ons on the team. It's a great proposal. I think it just kind of evens even the skew out as far as players across the board they can play, and it doesn't let one team, especially where they control everything. It should be good. That should be good. I'm waiting for them to make a decision though. Like,
yeah. So is this good from the school's perspective? How is this from the athlete's perspective though? Right. So how is this for that average athlete perspective?
Yeah. Well, I think it's great. I think it's for the D1 athlete.
Yeah.
You know what? If I'm being recruited, say for example, if and I'll just take it. Say if my son was being recruited or my daughter was being recruited by let's say USC, they were being recruited by USC, and USC and my daughter's is ranked as one of the top athletes. Well, but USC is out of scholarships. Okay, but they're still per daughter, and they were like, hey, you're walk on. You can come on and you can still compete, and you could be that 87th person to be able to be here and play. Right, we're going to pay your tuition out of pocket. Don't worry about it. Still nothing's coming out of your pocket. That's great for USC because my daughter gets to be there, and now she's going to be playing against competition, iron sharpen iron. But guess what? That now, but what that does now is that now UCLA is now can be not as competitive, right? Because they could have had a chance because they have room. They could have got my daughter, and she could have been playing on that team to be competitive against the team. So it makes the USC is not as powerful in being able to offer everybody. It makes other teams like UCLA, Cal, Berkeley, Stanford, all them to be able to get those athletes. So now we can even out the playing field of all these top athletes. So it's great for the athlete. It makes you. I think it's going to make you more desirable, right? Hey, I got an offer by USC, even though it was a walk-on, but it was going to be paid for. Now other schools going to jump on board and say, oh, they got offer by USC. Let's give them some money. I think it's more for to kind of. I think this is the NCAA trying to put a framework around NIL more so than anything.
Okay.
School and players, they're going to benefit. They're going to get the offers. They're going to figure out a way to do it.
Right.
But I think teams and schools figured out a loophole. They figured the loophole out. That's what did happen. Hey, okay, fine. We got 85. Guess what? We're going to offer all the walk-ons. We're going to pay the thing because we want them to be here and let them get in here and compete, and they can work their way. And guess what? They don't never have to be scholarship. We can just pay them for the next 4 or 5 years, and they'll be fine. They're going to be here to compete and help us out. That loophole now, NCAA smartly, great job. They identified it and said, all right, you know what? We got to figure out to put some framework around it and maybe curb this a little bit. And I think that's okay because I don't know, you being a fan, me definitely being a fan, and people that are fans of college sports, there has to be some type of framework around this NIL and the way these things are maneuvering. Because right now it's just the wild, wild west. The transfer portal is out of control. The amounts of money at certain schools is very out of control. They got to figure out a way to curb this and frame it so it's okay. And football is usually the first because it's the biggest out of all of them. So if they put the framework around football, it'll naturally curve to every other sport in a certain way.
I remember we were live the night that the transfer portal launched. We were live the very first night that NIL became NIL and transfer portal launched, and we were saying something to the effect that, man, somebody better put their arms around this because this is crazy, right? And I know I keep making the joke or keep making the analogy of an 18-year-old now going to the grocery store making $50,000 for a bag of groceries who came up from nothing, and now what do? And you've made the analogy as well about being safe with your dollars and cents because now you got to look out for everyone around. This just does seem to make sense in terms of the next iteration of what to do next. It's like fixing the plane while they're flying, right? Because it's never been done. Yeah. Right. It's that's another good analogy, I think. Trying to fix the plane while they're flying, trying to make it right for the players, make it right for the schools, try to be cool with the coaches so they don't pull their hair out, make it good for the star athletes and for the kid who was just enough, who just wants a chance.
Well, what's so crazy about this, and we got to address the elephant in the room. NCAA screwed up. Mm-hmm. They screwed up. They screwed up when they gave into the pressures about paying athletes and doing this and doing X, Y, Z, and why can't they transfer when they want to and all that. They screwed up. And when they screwed up and they opened Pandora's box, guess what? Now this is what they got. Something that's way out of control. The portal is got more players in it than it's ever had. The schools with money are buying players left and right. They're buying players on even other teams. So if you're a good player on Michigan and we really want you, guess what? Iowa's going to offer him so much money that he comes over and he gets in the portal and he comes over here. So now we're dealing with free agency. Guess what? These kids are now not. They're now lacking showing being accountable because they just move when they want to. They're showing no sense of loyalty to the team that recruited them. And there's a whole generation that being developed that's way different than what we're traditionally having. I think it's good or bad, it's just different, very different. And now NCAA doesn't know how to get its hold on it because now we went from having Power 5 and now we only have 4 powerhouse conferences. Yeah. We went, everything is getting strategically shrunk to be concentrated in one area and everything else is left at the wayside. So now bowl games don't mean as much. Teams don't mean as much. Money goes being distributed here and there and there. And there's so much money that's being there that NCAA doesn't know how to control it. They just don't, man. I mean, me personally, they should have pushed pause before they did anything and really thought out the risk. Like, they never thought out the risk. They didn't do a risk assessment for nothing. Anybody that's a project manager, they know what that means. They didn't do any kind of risk management assessment at all when they decided we're going to open this door. And just because somebody's annoying you and bugging you about these things doesn't mean you should just open Pandora's box. And now the crazy part about it is they got to do both. Not only do they got to pay players, NCAA have to pay players. Now NIL plays players. Now the portal's out of control. They can't control Power 5 because Power 5 now or Power 4 now controls all the rules and what wants to go on. If they want to expand the playoffs, guess what? They're about to expand playoffs because they want to do it to generate more money. All the things they didn't want to happen happened because they just wanted to give. They got tired of it. And you'll hear it here first. The Power 4 is going to divest from the NCAA. There's no need for it. What do we need the governing body of the NCAA when we have all the teams, we own all the TV market, and all the best players want to come to our conference? For what reason do we need you? And that's what the NCAA needs to be worried about now. And I think that's why they're giving in for everything that the Power 4 or Power 5, whatever, wants. Because they don't want them to divest because there's so much money being involved they can make it. I don't see there's going to come to a point where the Power 4 don't need them. They just don't. What do we need you for?
So, okay. So I'm gonna pivot here. I know we got to run a show here in terms of some things that we wanted to talk about, but I'm gonna throw a curveball here. So are you questioning legitimacy, and here I'm just going to pick at a scab, just trying to get a conversation. I know where I want to go. Are you questioning the legitimacy and the value of some of these governing boards, of some of these governing agencies, the ones that sit in a room and say, this is what the new NCAA policies are look like. This is who's going to be on the U.S. Olympic team for women. Are you questioning kind of those folks, and should there be some new folks in there, or don't even have those types of things? I'm bringing it back to because I know we wanted to talk about Caitlin Clark and should she be eliminated or removed from the U.S. team.
I'm not questioning the boards, but I'm questioning the NCAA, and they need to be real with themselves. Just like the Pac-12 just got divested because everybody wanted to go somewhere with a major money. I think the Power Fours are going to divest from the governing body of NCAA. You got to think, what is the need for me having you? The rules are already in place. We already set the tone. We set the tone. We control all the board. We control all the bowl games, and we control all the playoffs. So basically, our 4 conferences controls all the money, all the TV money. What do I need you for?
Oh my goodness.
Honestly, I mean, if we really gonna talk about it, let's be honest. What do I need you for? I don't. I can play my players on any kind of money I want to. I can have them. We're gonna play in the games. We already have the school infrastructure. It doesn't change the validity of the degree that people get from our school. What all it does is change. It says we're no longer under the governing body NCAA, so we're no longer paying you. And why should I pay you? There's no reason for me to pay you. I can get 7 businessmen to run. Think about it. I can get 7 renowned businessmen to run all of our Power 4 conference, and it'll work the exact same way.
Why do I need to have these analysts and these consultants that are on these governing boards when we can do it ourselves?
I don't need to have your rules and regulations. I don't need your rules and regulations anymore. What do I need them for? They're basically college football now, especially the higher level, is professional athletes, right? They're getting paid.
Truth.
They get to do it. So why don't I run? Why do I go under your rules when I should be running like a professional athlete, an NFL structure? Because they can move. They're free agents, right? They can move anywhere they want without transfer, without telling you. They get paid. They get paid lots of money without you. They're making a lot of money. We control all the TV contracts. We control everything that's important. What do I need you for? In all honesty, what do I need you for? So why should I give you a piece to the pie?
I think someone has asked that question. I'll be honest with you. I think in somebody's back room, I think somebody with a law degree has asked that question and said, man, they're getting too smart.
I'm telling you right now, not only asking that question, I bet you right now, the Power 4 is forming something for them to divest from the NCAA. I guarantee it. They control, man, I'm making $1 billion. What do I need to give you $100 million for? To do nothing, just to sit there and tell me what rules and regulations you want. I don't need you.
I had to sit and let that marinate for a second. I'm choking on the.
I mean, so my prediction is, I think the Power 4 this. They will say we're no longer part of the NCAA. They will form their own committee, their own board of directors, and their own board or whatever. And they'll work in a different manner. And football, for a fan standpoint, it won't change. It's just like the LIV and PGA, right? They work differently, but it's all golf at the end of the day. That will be all football in the college spectrum, and they will run it. That will happen unless the NCAA gets their stuff together, bro. And I think people are just getting tired of it. They're just really getting sick of the way they're doing things because what are they paying them for? In my opinion.
I love it. Hey, you got a fan here. We heard it here first, and you actually got some synergy here with Mr. Dan Roth. He says he's made his points. This isn't a Negro League, so I agree with Montell for a change. I love it. Well, he asked a question too. He says, "Remember the movie Blue Chips?" I don't know if I remember that movie. He says, "With the NIL rules, would that movie still have merit today?"
No, it wouldn't, because now they don't have to pay me legally. They're paying them legally. I can give that dude with the basketball shooter from Indiana when he gave him the bag of money. Instead of giving the bag of money, I just cut him a check out of the office. so okay, everything's all right. That doesn't have any merit today because the climate of the way things operate have changed. I just believe that Power 4 conference, and remember, everybody's in there. Remember, Pac-12 were all They got West Coast teams, every team all across the region. They own all the TV money. Why are we giving NCAA a piece of our pie, which is a huge piece of pie, right? And college sports is multi-billion-dollar industry with memorabilia, everything going along, all the sports. So why are we giving NCAA anything to govern us? We don't need you to govern us anymore. We're just as business savvy as you. We know everything we need to do. We can own our own and run it ourselves, and don't have to abide by any of your rules.
Man, it's a new day. it's a new day. What that is, we gonna watch this. I'm glad you brought this to the attention. I'm glad we're having this conversation because we will see how it works out. Right?
Well, it was funny, and mark this on your calendar. We're the first to talk about it. We're the first. When it starts to happen and those conversations start to happen, you'll go back either a year from now or 2 years from now, and you'll be like, man, we were talking about that. We're going to do that. Because I'm telling you, all it's going to take is for NCAA to piss off somebody in the Power 5 or the Power 4, excuse me. All it's going to take is for them to piss off one of those teams, especially one of those high-power teams, piss them off, and then they're going to be like, what are we doing? Why are we here? Why are we here? And then I think that's going to be the start. And I wouldn't think for a minute, don't believe that there's some backroom talk from some of these expensive business people that are really heavily involved in college sports in the backroom saying, and some lawyers are working on, how did we divest from NCAA? I guarantee that conversation is happening. It has to be happening. And it's possible because NEI is divested from NCAA. So it's not like it can't exist.
No, that's a good point. There you go right there. Yeah. That's a good point.
NEI is separately from the NCAA. Well, what's wrong with the Power 5 having their own conference being separate from the NCAA? The biggest issue out of that whole thing is NCAA is going to have to reformulate themselves. They're going to have to figure out how to get new TV contracts. They're going to have to figure out a way how to raise more money because now all your money makers are gone, supposedly in the public's eyes. They're all going to be gone. And the problem you have to worry about that is when teams get good in NCAA, what makes you think they're going to jump to the Power 4 new conference? Just like PGA and LIV. People want to jump to another conference because it's more money. So it exists. It can coexist. I'm not saying it won't coexist. It can coexist. But I think we're going to be looking at a different landscape of college football in the next 3 to 5 years because Power 5s are going to divest.
Yes, and yeah, y'all heard it here first. See Montell will go online. He'll go on like Fox News locally, I think weekly down in his area. He's on Fox Sports. He's on one of the big sports channels on TV. And
it's KUSI. It's KUSI, but yeah.
Okay, shouts out to KUSI. He'll give him some breakdowns, some analysis, some whiteboards. He'll do some things, but saves all the good stuff for Team No Sleep. Y'all heard it. Y'all better tell somebody. Come on, over 20-some people. I see you over on Twitter again. It's all good. We love you over there too. Just know you can leave comments. You can engage and interact just like our YouTube family. We appreciate everyone who joins and hangs out with us every week. What's going on now? 85-70. Celtics ahead. Closing out the third. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Kyrie back at home. He maybe he'll do a little something. He need to show up because Luke is banged up. Okay.
Yeah.
Dan, let's see. Dan was saying I would argue players in college have more power than the professional player associations. And then Marvin is saying that's right. Players don't know how much power they have, either pro or college.
I think. And that's a good argument. Players do have a lot of power, but players aren't involved in the infrastructure. And right now, with pros, they probably have more power than colleges, for the sake fact that pros are harder to find. Right? You'd have to find the so-called scab players to come in and replace them. It's a little bit different than the dynamic of the higher level. In college, they do have a power because they have numbers. But in college, there's so much competition coming out of high school and junior colleges and lower levels like Division II and Division III that can come up and fulfill those spots. They don't have as much as power because there's somebody next in line ready to take their spot if they act up too much or they go too crazy. Now, if they came together all jointly in numbers as the players and said, hey, we're going to do this in the right, obviously, yeah, they have powers because they can shut it down and it would stop a lot of money coming. But, I mean, you guys got to ask yourself, really, do you really want to do that when you're somebody that comes from nothing and all of a sudden you're making millions of dollars at the age of 18 or 19
Come
years
on.
old.
That's
It's
a
hard,
real
it's hard for you
conversation.
to say. That's just hard to say. No, I'm gonna protest. I'm not gonna do it because everybody else is not getting paid equally. Well, hey man, I'm being taken care of fine. My family's A-okay, and I never thought I would see this kind of money in my life, and I'm making it at the age of 18 or 19 years old. It's really hard to ask a young person to kind of exemplify that kind of power for the greater good, because they're not looking for the greater good; they're looking for right now.
That's it right there. That's it, folks. Social impact, right? We mentioned scores once or twice, but social impact. That's what we do. Tell somebody. Let's keep it moving. I want to touch on. There's two stories I want to talk on, and I'm gonna throw one in here at the end. Man, there's a gang of stuff because I touched on the Caitlyn thing. We wanted to have a conversation about. I actually think it's a non-story, to be honest with you. All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark got eliminated or got omitted from the USA Olympic team. Okay. I love Caitlin Clark. She's the one. She's the reason for me watching women's basketball. She really is. I knew of and about her before I knew about Angel Reese. I knew of and about her before I knew about all the other players. Watching her at Iowa in college. Now I can tell you everybody that plays for the Vegas Aces. I can tell you everybody that plays for the Connecticut Suns. I can tell you everybody that plays for the Washington Mystics. They need to win. Right. So she's the one. So she is the go-to. She's the reason why the WNBA games are now being moved from these little backyard playgrounds to the NBA arenas. She is that reason. But we trying to win. And I honestly think that the 12 players that they picked to be on the women's basketball team for the United States in Paris were the right 12 players. I don't think Caitlyn's ready. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Let's go ahead and get into it if you want to, but go ahead.
For a marketing standpoint, they should have picked Caitlyn, right? Marketing,
yes. Marketing, yes.
It'd have been great. Business-wise, it'd have been great for the women's team to pick her. Skill-wise,
hold on. Look at Dan. This Dan, you wrong, brother.
you know who I'm more upset about this not making the team?
What?
You know who I'm more upset about it that didn't make the team? Juju.
I could have seen Juju instead of Brittany Griner.
Juju should have made the team
because
you typically remember they used to take all pros and then they would take one college player, right? They would take one college player, like Christian Laettner before, and so on and so on. I thought they should have been able to put an invite for Juju to be able to be a part of that team, and then she would have been the next upcoming face of college basketball. Well, she's the upcoming face of college basketball, but she would have been the next upcoming face to transition over to the WNBA.
Yeah.
I'm more upset that they didn't choose her, more so than Caitlyn. Caitlyn's not one of the 12 best players in the WNBA. And her stats, and we can just go statistically, she's not one of the best. So if we just go by stats alone, she's not one of the best. So right now, she's not ready. She's the face. She's definitely the future face of the WNBA. She's going to be a big-time star in the WNBA. But she has a lot of things to work on. I think she would be the first one to admit it. I do like her comments when they asked about her not being chosen. Yeah. She was like, I'm playing WNBA. I'm not worried about the Olympics. She
said, listen, you know what? Okay, I'll get there eventually. Yeah. They done woke up the monster. You know who I'm upset about? And I probably shouldn't say this online because it's recorded. It's going to be on the internet. But Aaliyah Boston got the crying and doing because she didn't make the team.
Yeah.
She's not performing this year. No, but this year she has not. She has accounted for more turnovers and missed more quote unquote relatively easy buckets than a lot of her other teammates. So again, it's just not the time, not ready. There was a couple of other players that I think just edged those two out to be our best representation to go out there and win that gold. We're not trying to win bronze.
No problem. But you know what's crazy? I like the fact that they're announcing who didn't make it, and now they have an edge or a chip on their shoulders, right? To play.
Love that.
So I think it inspires competition. It definitely inspires competition. But If we just go statistically, man, just statistically, we don't got to go by who you like, the game that you like. Neither one of them are the top 12 or the top 4 in their position, right? They take 4 forwards, 4 centers, or let's say, forward centers and guards. They're not the top. They're not in that
Nope.
top 12 category, the top 4 category when you're just doing statistics. So rightfully so, you should make it. You should make it at particularly this time. I believe now the future looks bright for WNBA in our Olympic team in the next 4 years because Caitlin Brown, Juju will be there by then. Asa Reese will be.
Oh, we're gonna be
Her
hot.
game will
Paige
be
Beckers.
fine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the girl in Minnesota, all of them are going to be ready and right to be able to go. It's funny. I was watching the old UConn women's basketball coach, and he was saying this year's draft for the WNBA, everyone says it's the greatest, and he says no, it's by far the worst. It's not even that great. You have people that are talented, but when you get to the WNBA, their bodies are not ready. They're not ready for the mental toughness of the game. When it comes to that, they're not. They're very skillful players, but they lack a lot of basketball knowledge. They don't know how to run plays. That's why you see so many turnovers. They don't know how to properly box out. That's why you see them getting out rebounded by the older ladies that are playing. He says so. They just now got to shine on their sport, and they're the first ones to come in with a lot of individual talent. They can dribble the ball, they can shake, and they can wiggle, but they can't play fundamental basketball, and that's what you need to play at the next international level.
At that next level, right. There it is right there. At that next level. So, and I wanted to harp on that or emphasize that just to go along with this comment that came in from Dan. Oh my God, that looks bad. He's saying, before you say she is not ready, when we look at other sports, most participants in the Olympics come from either the minor leagues or young professionals. I'll use hockey as an example. But again, just either they're not ready. They haven't excelled thus far to be, again, one of the elite players that we want to represent the United States of America to get gold. They can help us get silver and bronze, but nobody is going for second and third place.
Well, again, the playing field has changed. It used to be our amateurs were able to compete against their professionals.
Yeah.
Well, we found that out that that's no longer the case anymore. That we can't. Our amateurs, their professionals are getting better and better, while our amateurs are still at that learning curve and not able to match them. So now we decided to take our professionals there. So, and I believe, I'm not quite sure how it works in hockey. I don't really follow hockey. Sorry, Dan. I don't follow hockey enough.
Man, you got to get into hockey. I'm trying to get. That's my new sport too. I'm trying to get into hockey, brother.
The dynamics of it, but I know in basketball, definitely they want our professionals to participate in it. I do believe they should take a few amateurs though. In my opinion, I don't know if they should expand the roster or they should take at least one amateur. The best amateur in the world should be able to go with them to learn the rigors of the international, because that person who's that one amateur eventually is going to be the face of that Olympic team.
Yeah,
and go. And I think Juju deserves it more than anybody at USC. She's player of the year, freshman of the year, going to be probably the most dominant player in college basketball next year.
Yeah, I would have preferred Juju instead of Haley Van Lith. Right.
Yep.
Haley's got skills and she's got handles and all, but again, at that level, still in college, I would have preferred Juju at that point. But again, I'm not sitting in that room making that decision. But we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Whoever the 12th player is on there, I think Juju should have been at least to be able to compete for it, or should have got that spot over the 12th player. And I think, again, WNBA missed out on an opportunity to be able to mass market themselves and be able to say, you know what, we're still going to be dedicated to our one collegiate player that we're going to bring. Not like the NBA abandoned it a long time ago. We're going to say, no, we're still going to be committed to at least take that one, the best player in college basketball, and bring them along with us to go on this whirlwind tour and be a part of this Olympic tradition and compete with us and practice with us and understand the part of the game to not only enhance that person's game, but also bring that notoriety back to her campus as a gold medalist. And it just gives it a whole bunch of hoopla and a whole bunch of marketing all the way around it, which they missed out on this opportunity again by taking their players. And I would argue that whoever the 12th player on that team, that Juju's better than them, or Juju has a skill set just as good as them right now.
Oh yeah, and I'll close and move on to the next one. I'll say, in all transparency, maybe Juju didn't even want this. So maybe she didn't. Maybe she did. Because we don't know, right? She maybe didn't even try out. Maybe she didn't. She erased her name off the list.
I don't care that long. She should have been picked. She should have been the person that had that roster spot already locked and loaded.
I'm trying to be glass half somewhat full, brother. You over there, coming with the logic all the time.
Yeah.
God, I'm trying to. Okay. I see. Listen, we got more and more folks joining us. That's what we do. See, people, going from one show to the other. They're watching the game. Celtics gonna go up 3-0. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Goodness gracious.
How many points Kyrie got? What Kyrie got? What is he doing?
He don't have enough. Is what he got. He don't have enough. Let's see here. Kyrie got 26. Kyrie got 26. Luka got 27. That's it. Everyone else is.
Oh, he got enough. That means the team ain't doing it.
That's just terrible, man. They getting beat. Yeah. Jason Tatum showing out tonight, 27 points. Your boy White on the floor with 11. Man, okay, game not over yet.
Yeah.
Still got 8:56 to go, but
so
it's 91-77.
Yeah. So White picked up the slack for Porzingis, scoring out 11 points.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and that's what
good.
they're doing. Again, okay. that's quite. They have to. They I mean, they have to. They have to get that trophy next week, or again, there's gonna be a lot of furniture moving, man. I mean, this Boston. Have you been to Boston? Have you been to Massachusetts?
But wait. This is what I'm telling you. Hey,
Boston don't play, brother.
Let's go back.
Serious.
No, one quick second. If Boston, no matter what happens, especially if Dallas loses, do you think the Lakers are going to try to poach Jason Kidd? I do. I would if I'm the Lakers. Do you think the Lakers are going to try to poach Jason Kidd?
Yeah, because JJ Redick is not your guy. Because JJ is too close to LeBron doing podcasts and everything. I know there's been conversations about that. I think J Kidd needs to be near the top of that list. Yes, I really do believe.
And I would pay Dallas whatever they wanted to poach him away from.
Give him that money.
Like,
just
really
do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Write it off. Right. Just Jeannie Buss, go ahead and write a check. She's probably got it in her purse already. But just do that and get right, because they've gone through too many coaches too soon. The team hasn't had the ability to get any synergy. Just get a coach who knows how to play, that has respect. Okay, we should be in those rooms, right? We Monday morning quarterbacking, but
Well, no. The reason why I'm saying that is because obviously if Dallas gets sweep, they're going to want some type of change, right? It's always going to be the hoopla the team that loses.
Yeah.
We need to do something different to make it happen. Yeah. I think that the players were like, no, we want to keep Jason Kidd, but I believe if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers organization who's desperately needed for a coach with a presence, a coach that knows what he's doing, and a coach that's very respectable in that locker room with the different personalities they have, Jason Kidd is at the top of my list. And what Wojciechowski, and nobody's ever saying that, I don't even care if he's under contract or not. If I'm the Lakers, we're giving up you some draft picks and whatever you want to get Jason Kidd over here to our organization, to our team, to lead the Lakers and lead LeBron in his next 2 or 3 years. Because I think that's a guy that he's going to respect. That's a guy that they're going to be like, all right, cool. We like his style of play, and he knows how to work with superstars. Why not go get Jason Kidd? So you heard that here first. You don't hear that on Stephen A. None of them talking about that. I think they should go after Jason Kidd.
It's not that we don't love ESPN and CBS and Fox, but there's been too many coincidences where your boy here has been at the gym like an hour after our show. I'm not going tonight because I'm hitting this, hitting it. But I'm hitting this. Hold on, 49 mile. I got to get it right, God. But sure enough, ESPN says the exact same thing, word for word, that we say here on this show. I'm not gonna say that ESPN's listening. I'm not gonna be a conspiracy theorist. And it's listen, we appreciate you. Just go ahead and say something in the comments. Put us on.
Man, I want to get it ahead and just say we said, I had that time step to say we said it first, because I believe that story's gonna break pretty soon. Yeah. I haven't heard no one talk about it. They talk about Wojciechowski or Stephen A. They always trying to break news. I believe that the Lakers will go after Jason Kidd, and I don't see no reason why they're not. Offered him $70 million, Jason Kidd would be gladly, I'm pretty sure, take that and run with it and say, hey, this is a great opportunity for him to be back in California and LA and running the show. more so than him in Dallas. And no disrespect for Dallas, I think they're a great organization. But now that Mark Cuban's left, it's going to be a different dynamic there.
Yes.
Why not? It'll be the right time and right opportunity to poach a great coach in his staff right now. And it would give them an infusion of change that they're looking to give, because now since they're not going to win, if they don't win the championship. I don't say they're not, but if they don't win the championship. So it seems like a match made in heaven, but no one's talking about it. We'll be the first ones to talk about it. So if they put that out there, I want you to make sure you tag everybody.
Listen, I'm tagging everybody. God, listen, I'm tagging Phil Knight at Nike. Everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Marvin said, it's true.
Right
listen, we speak nothing but the truth. That's what we doing, y'all. That's what we doing. I wanted to talk about, we're going to bring this plane in, but I wonder if we should hold these stories about the athletes, the transgender athletes, until next week. Because, I mean, that story is just going to be around. And I think, so here's the deal for the audience. We got a couple of stories. We've pioneered the transgender athlete conversation again since day zero. And there's been a couple of instances that's happened recently at Washington and at Oregon State. Oregon State. So again, touches me, right? So I'm personally involved in that, and we want to get in touch with that. We want to have those conversations. But I want to follow up on kind of a story that we talked about. Just I'm gonna bring this up. We didn't talk about this in the pre-show, but Harrison Butker. There was a medical emergency within the Chiefs locker room. Mm-hmm. BJ Thompson started having a seizure, and first person that ran out to try to help, the first person that went out to go out to look for emergency services to get some assistance, defibrillator and things of that nature was Harrison Butker. So I only bring this up because there's been so much controversy and conversation about him and his commencement speech about, quote unquote, his terms, his thoughts of a rightful place of a woman in the house, things like that. His teammates love him. His teammates are behind him, and when he gets in between the lines and he kicks the ball, he does what he does. And here in the locker room, again, he's showing that. I just wanted to put that out there again. And there's always three sides to a story.
Yeah. I mean, a person's views are a person's views, and just because I disagree with them doesn't make them a bad person.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't make them a bad person. And his views and his lifestyle is the way he uses and he chooses to use it. And chooses to live it. Doesn't make him a bad person because I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't understand why he's under this big scrutiny umbrella because he gave a commencement speech about that. I don't agree with his ideology. I don't. But some people do. And just because I dislike your comments, but I don't dislike you as a person. I disagree with your comments, but I don't dislike you as a person. It's that simple. This cancel culture, man, is really
and we live in this country, and many have fought and lost their lives so we can actually agree to disagree.
Yes, and the fact that when we disagree, we want to put all in. He's a bad person. He should lose his job. He should do this. He should do that. Really, but we're going to negate all the good that the person did just because he has a different viewpoint than I do about his lifestyle. That in itself is wrong itself. I believe, and I believe. This cancel culture kind of needs to stop, man. And really, I mean, you can have an opinion, you can say you disagree with them, and then leave it at that, and let's agree to disagree and continue to live. It's no wonder that people, laugh at the way we act about our athletes and get really upset about this cancel culture because someone has a difference of opinion, a difference of belief. I mean, if that's the case, why don't we cancel various religions? Because you don't believe in that religion, why don't we cancel the other one? Why don't we cancel all these different views, man? It's kind of getting out of hand is what I'm trying to say, in short. We shouldn't be that way. Just because you have a difference of opinion doesn't mean that person's necessarily bad. It doesn't. Just because him and his wife and his kids probably believe in that lifestyle. It's okay. That's the way they live. Doesn't necessarily make it right or wrong in your eyes. It just you just don't agree with it. And they can live the life. He can live his happy life the way he wants to. And I'm glad he's getting his flowers. I'm sad that this is like on page 12. Right?
No one else is covered. No one else is covering this, right? Yeah. We had to be the ones that cover this.
Why is that on page 12?
You see it. I'm just telling you, right? But that's again, that's what it is. But I wanted to put that out there because again, I think the story matters because there's possibility. Who knows the severity? But BJ Thompson may not be around. But Harrison Butker was one of the first ones to actually spring into action to help him. So. start with kindness. Start with kindness and start with understanding, folks, and realize that we live in this country with the uh, free will to disagree, to agree, and agree to disagree, and to allow you to have different opinions and different thoughts. We're a two-party system. There should be more We're not going to get into a political conversation, but there probably should be more parties. But again, that is one of the things that fundamentally makes us honestly better than anybody else out there.
Yeah, I mean, as a country, absolutely, I believe that's one of the.
I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. We're not gonna get too political. Let me ask you this. We're gonna end with this. We're gonna bring this plane in. Shouts out to you, Mr. Cox. We see you joining, man. You came in late, but that's all right. You part of the family, but we appreciate you here. You came just in time. Montell, what do you do on Labor Day? Do you do anything particular on Labor Day?
Me personally, I just hang out with the family.
You watch any TV or anything?
I don't know what I watch when it's on. To be honest with you, if something's on worth watching, then I'll check it out. But I mean, typically at home with the fam on Labor Day. And actually that weekend getting ready for Monday, right?
Getting ready for Monday. This fella always on the clock.
You got to be in this world. So
okay, and reason I asked that, so Labor Day, I'm typically doing some things with my family, my extended family. We got some property up in the mountains, and we do what we do. But we always turn the TV on. See, don't do that. I'm gonna have to edit that out there. Okay.
I mean, you said it. I just said it.
my dad is probably cracking up right now too, because okay. So what we'll do though, we'll turn the TV on and we'll watch some sports. Some may call it sports, some may not call it sports, but what we gonna watch?
Ain't no sport.
What we gonna watch is Joey Chestnut eat them hot dogs at Nathan's. The problem this year is Joey done messed around and got too big for his britches, and he done signed a brand partnership deal, not with Nathan's, the hot dog company that sponsors the contest, but with a plant-based hot dog provider. They not letting Joey Chestnut, the reigning champion, participate in this year's competition. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Listen, we got problems.
Nah, I'm just joking.
Joey Chestnut is the man. He can eat 800 hot dogs in 20 seconds.
Bro, look, he looks sick in that picture.
Well, he do. Listen,
he look like he about to give it up right there on the trophy, man. Dude, this is gluttony at its worst right here, man.
It is. This is bad right here. Do not do it. High sodium, high cholesterol, high potassium, all that stuff. But listen, the Nathan's Hot Dog Championship, and now they got the women's too. And the women weigh all of 80 pounds, and they knocking them down too. But Joey Chestnut has been doing it for years. He's been winning. He has messed around again and got so big that now he's got brand partnership deals with a vegan dog company, and they have banned him from participating. Like Marvin said, this is outrageous. This is outrageous.
No, I mean, come on, really?
Blasphemy,
I mean, it's outrageous. Why is it outrageous? Because the company that you're going to participate in the competition where I'm going to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're not promoting my brand, and my brand's not promoted on it? Come on, man. This is not a sports competition. This is just the eating competition. This ain't a sport. It's a competition. It's like a game playing chess.
No strategy to this? There's no...
Nah, you just eating. Yeah. So but I do appreciate the competition part, right? The competitive nature of it. I do appreciate it. But, man, I get Nathan's stand. Yeah. But I don't think Nathan understands the fans' perspective because people want to see him eat hot dogs, right? So I think by banning him or not allowing him to participate is going to hurt the eating competition. I don't think Nathan's just thinking this out right away, thinking this out very, very strategically. I would just make sure, just like in the Olympics, remember, you couldn't wear, if they were Nike sponsored, they couldn't wear anything that said Nike, they had to cover it up. I think the same with this, and make sure he just doesn't promote the vegan hot dog and let him go ahead and participate. Why not? But isn't that kind of an oxymoron? You support and you endorse a vegan hot dog,
Yeah.
but you're about to go eat a bunch of meat hot dogs.
God, dog. Well, see, they're not going to play. They're not going to let him participate. He's won it 16 times, the mustard yellow belt.
But I'm saying, isn't that contradicting yourself? I'm signed with a vegan, but
Yeah.
I'm about to eat a whole bunch of meat.
Well, don't worry about that. We gonna get this money. We gonna get another belt. Don't worry about the particulars right there. We just trying to.
That part don't make sense to me. But I got a question for you though in this. What happened to the Asian dude that beat him that one year? What happened to him?
Yeah, he missing now. Yeah, he missing. Yeah, we don't like that. We rooting for Joey, right? We like old school, just Jersey kind of cats. I'm not sure. I remember the dude because I watched it.
Yeah.
And I was in disbelief.
Yes.
Again, another little 80-pound dude from Japan or somewhere from somewhere in Asia Pac and beat Joey Chestnut. Man, I don't know. I just thought I'd throw this out there to see your feelings because again, this is American nostalgia right here on Labor Day.
You know what? I will catch the highlight on ESPN, but I will not watch the competition.
Oh my God. You don't know what you're missing. This is like curling to me. This is the my new
curling's dope, dude. Hey, with that brush in front, that's a good sport, man. You're trying to slow it down and get those grooves. Nah, you tripping. Like, curling and this is two different things. And what's that? Check that score real quick. I just got to hide. What's that score real quick? Because I think the game got closer.
93-90. 93-90.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 minutes to go. We're not gonna hold folks long. We're gonna let you go and watch it live. But again, I wanted to put this out there to see how you felt. This right here, this is American conversation right here. This is what we need to be debating about. Joey Chestnut needs to be allowed to participate in the hot dog eating. I'm gonna sign a petition. I'm gonna start a petition. Yeah,
it's gonna be about 4 people signing it.
There we go, 2, and I'm gonna be the one to sign it 3 times.
There you go.
What gets the eyeballs? The events or the athlete? Oh, who?
Both.
I'm just saying. I
like
tune
comment,
into
though.
this event to see Joey go through that stage that he's in right now. You can tell he need to go somewhere. He need to go take to the bathroom. You could tell.
Yeah, he don't look good. He don't look good in that picture, man. That's not a good looking shot.
You could tell he need to go sit down for a minute.
Yeah. He looked like he about to give it up. Absolutely.
On that note, shout out to you. Shout out to 49 Mile. Let me get it in camera. God, one of these days I'm gonna do a proper drop for him. We're just gonna get them on.
I think you got to put that. Yeah, you got to do something nice for them, man.
That's true. I'll probably record something separate, put some music and put some effects on it to do a nice little drop for him for 49 Mile because I done had a couple already tonight and definitely not going to the gym.
I hear that.
But Montell, appreciate you, man. Appreciate the community. Appreciate everyone. Go ahead and do what we do, man. Go ahead and take us home.
Absolutely. Hey, everyone out there, please. Tomorrow's not promised to anyone, so make sure you reach out to your loved ones, check on them, make sure they're okay. Say your prayers about them, man. Just we live in a crazy world right now, and things happen in an instant. So please check up on the people that you love. Make sure you hug your kids and your family whenever you get a chance, and make sure you tell them you love them. And always, as we always say, please get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations because that's how we learn. And we're out.
Bringing the heat, team no sleep, with champions meet, we're on the mic, taking over the game, no time for rest, cause we're in it for fame. Talking sports, breaking it down from the court to the field, all around town, we stay up all night, grinding on the mic, bringing news, real stories on the